Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Kizzy if you didn't know, and today we have a bit of a different video than normal or one that I've ever done before. But I've watched quite a few of these and I quite enjoy them, so I thought I would do one. So today I'm going to be comparing US covers and UK covers and deciding which one I prefer. Obviously I just want to say this isn't saying anyone's better or worse, or there's no judgment here. It's just a personal preference and I thought it would be cool to talk about because I've watched a few of these videos and quite a lot of the time I've completely been with the other cover than the person's gone for. So I just think it's interesting to talk about, and I do like talking about covers. I think covers are really interesting and how marketing teams decide on what they're going to put on the cover and everything like that. So I have 10 book covers or books to talk about today that I've scoured the internet for, and I actually found it really difficult to find covers because there weren't that many actually, and a lot of covers I think now are using just the same one as the kind of, I suppose the markets get very more similar, like I don't know the reasoning behind it, but a lot of them are using the same covers, and a lot of the things that I had thought of were actually not US versus UK covers, they were just cover changes. So like An Ember in the Ashes, we could talk about those covers for a while. We're not talking about that though, we're talking about these books today. So starting off with number 1, we have Strange the Dreamer. So I've done the hardcover for this, for the main comparison, and I have to say it's a tough call because going off just the pictures, I think the US cover, sorry I have my laptop down here so that's why I'm looking down there, but the US cover I think looks more interesting, and I like the gold on it with the like half gold and how the lettering is split and that kind of thing, and I like that. But I have the UK edition, and in real life that blue is gorgeous. I won't get it out again because I always get it out in the videos, but it is really it's a really deep blue, and the gold on that, it just looks stunning. It looks stunning. So it's a tough call. I think I'm going to have to go for the UK cover because I like the font a little bit better, and I think that just the moth is just a little bit kind of clearer, if that makes sense. It's just a bit more to the point, probably not, but I'm gonna go with it. But just to kind of balance it out a little bit, or like shed some more light on it, I've also included on my little spreadsheet the UK paperback edition. Now I really don't like this edition, I'm really sorry if you do, but I really don't like it. I actually own it because that's what I originally read it in, and I just think it's really watered down. It looks a bit like it should be like a period book, maybe from like the 1920s or something. For some reason that's the vibes I'm getting from it. I think because it's got the kind of blackened edges like it's an old photograph, and I just don't like it. Paperback lost, hardcover won. Okay, moving on to number 2, we have City of Brass. Now this is another one that is a bit difficult to decide. Actually a lot of these are difficult to decide. I think they've done very good jobs on both accounts. This is another one I think, so I think going off the bat US has won on the City of Brass cover. I really love the fire. I think it's really rich, and I love the illustration that goes on the background of the City of Brass. I think that really ties in with what the book is actually, kind of the culture setting that the book's in, and I just think that's really, really nice. And I like the strong kind of deep colours in it, and I do like City of Brass in the UK. I think it is a good cover. I own that cover. I think it's lovely. I don't have it with me because it's in my uni accommodation. However, Kingdom of Copper, hands down the UK one is better. I'm sorry. So this is the UK one. It is just like the deep green, the emerald colour, I just really enjoy watching. And I like the silhouette down here and the kind of bronzy embellishing around the side. I just think this cover works so much better than the US cover, because I think the US cover is really watered down and I don't really understand what it looks a bit sci-fi. Do you know what I mean? I'm getting sci-fi vibes from it, and it's not sci-fi, it's fantasy, and I'm just not getting the same appreciation for it that I got for the first one. I just don't like it. It looks like a sci-fi thing, doesn't it, with the kind of alien watership thing. I know it's a waterfall, but I don't like it. Really sorry. But yeah, so I'd have to say that for Kingdom of Copper it changes. So if I was going to get the series in one edition, I'd probably go for the UK as a whole series because I think on average it's better. Number 3, we have Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. Another Laini Taylor. And I have to say I don't like either of these covers. I'm very sorry. I think the UK edition does represent what it's about a little bit more. I don't think the US one really showcases what it's about or has much relevance to it. I mean, I only read this a few months ago and I have no idea why she's wearing a blue mask in that photo. I don't know, so clearly it wasn't a big part of it, but I can clearly remember why there's a handprint and the door's opening and why it's all red and kind of the aesthetic of the snow and all that kind of thing. But I just don't kind of like it as a cover. I think it's an odd choice of cover. And I don't like the font of the US one. The font on the UK one is better, I think. And I think it's weird. Both of them. So I'm really not sure. I'm going to say the UK one, just because it has more relevance to the book. But I'm not feeling either of them. Okay, moving on to number 4. This is another one that I kind of broke my own rule for. So, straight off the back, I prefer the US cover. I think it is just cooler. Like, Mia looks freaking badass on that cover. Like, and the font and everything is just, yeah. The US cover is better. And if I was going to get a collective series, I'd get the US cover. Because I just don't like crow. I don't really like crows on covers. They kind of went through a phase of putting crows on covers all the time. Like, or blackbirds. Like, there was the Raven Boys had that. Obviously that makes sense because, you know, ravens. But, yeah, so I prefer the US cover. I don't really like the crow. I'm not feeling it, it's not my vibe. Don't like the crow. But Dark Dawn, I broke my rule. I bought the UK cover, not the US cover, so now I have a mismatched collection. I will still hopefully purchase the US cover to have a complete set in one thing, but the UK cover had Mr. Kinley on it with like all these cool like ships and skulls and all that kind of thing, and that was a really cool cover because it was a cat. I think it's just the crow I don't like. I can't remember. I think it's a bear on God's grave, which is improvement. That's a middle one. But Mr. Kinley cover, I enjoyed that cover. So US wins, but for Dark Dawn it would be UK. I get them both. I get them both. If you can afford it, and you know it's a waste of money to get them both, but I would get them both. Okay, scrolling on to number 5, we have Caraval by Stephanie Garber. They're quite similar, you know, they're having the same vibes. I prefer the US edition, personally. I have both of these actually. I have the US and the UK edition because I have the rest of the series in the UK edition and their spines are quite cool. And the UK edition, if you take off the dust jacket, they have like a hidden symbol in it, and depending on which one you picked up, depending on the symbol that you got. So I know people have like 5 editions, so they have all the symbols on the inside of the cover, which, you know, each their own. If you want to buy 5 of them, go for it. So that is quite a cool little hidden gem to it. But I just really like the colours of Caraval on the US cover, and I like the kind of swirly patterns, and I think it more looks like a carnival circus vibe, whereas Caraval just is like magic. So, you know, we get magic-y carnival vibes in the US cover and just magic on the UK cover. They're very similar. I do prefer the font of the Caraval in the US cover as well. I like the swirls, I think it's a nice touch. But yeah, US covers win there. Okay, number 6 now. I have a clear winner here. I really don't like the UK cover here. Really sorry. I spent ages, I wanted to read this series for so long, but being the snob that I am, I wouldn't buy it until I could find the US cover edition that wasn't extortionately priced. And I did manage to find it on a discount as the box set. And then I read it, and because I'd been hyping it up for so long and I'd been wanting to read it for so long, I was really disappointed, which is really sad. And I haven't read the rest of the series even though I purchased them all. I do want to give it a reread and think going into it maybe with a different mindset will be better. But who knows. But yeah, I really don't like the UK cover. I feel like this one people will disagree with me because I can see the appreciation and why it would be picked, and like how, like, it is a cool cover. I just don't like it. I don't know what it is. I think it's the silhouette. It's a bit cartoony. I mean, I know the other one is literally a cartoon, but it works better. Like it's just more, I don't know, aesthetically pleasing, I think. The other one looks more sophisticated, I think. The US cover looks more sophisticated, whereas the UK cover just looks a bit more childish. I think because of the block colours and like that kind of thing. I don't really know. I do think actually the special edition one looks quite cool with the gold background. They should have done that for the main one, but you know, whatevs, we can't change it now. So, number 7 we have The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I have the UK cover. I think I got it when it first came out in paperback and read it then, and this I think is really interesting because before I'd read the book I would have said the US cover because it tells you immediately kind of what it's about, with the hate you give being in the protest sign, and it gives you a really clear like indication of what this book is going to be, and I really enjoy that, and I think it's a really strong cover. But after reading The Hate You Give, I think the emotions that you get from the UK cover make it better. Yeah, just like the strength, the sadness, the power, all of those kind of mixed emotions you get just from her, the close-up image of her face and the lighting on it and everything, and I think that's really strong, and it's not something I picked up on when I first looked at it before I'd read it, but in hindsight it is something, so I think it is a better cover because of that. So I think I'm going to go with the UK cover just because of the emotions that it pulls from you, but I do really like the US cover. That's a strong one, but they're both good. See, these are why this is difficult. Okay, going on to an easier one now. This is a clear winner for me. Don't know about you, but the US totally loses. I'm so sorry if you like this, but we are Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik, and I don't like the US cover at all. And this is one I think I saw on someone else's video. They did Uprooted by Naomi Novik, but the covers are very similar even though they're standalones. She picked the US one, I think. I can't even remember who it is now. It was years ago I watched this video. But no, I'm sorry. I get the fairy tale vibes. It does definitely look like a fairy tale more than anything, and that is kind of what Spinning Silver is. Like, it is very fairy tale-esque vibes. But I really like the drawings of the UK cover. I think it's a stunning book. I actually own it. It's here. I think it's beautiful. And they did have this in the Uprooted, and I'm so sad that I didn't get it before it went out of print. Now if you want to buy it, it's like £200 second hand. It's like ridiculous, but it is a beautiful book and I really like it. So I'm going to go for the UK cover. Also, I know in the US one you've got the coins, and like she does, that's kind of her Spinning Silver. She takes silver and makes it in silver coins and make them into gold coins, but through being good with money, and that's the kind of fairy tale that it goes on. I think it's Rumpelstiltskin that the fairy tale follows, or is inspired by the retelling of it. And you've got the kind of splitness of the two different worlds, you know, like the different colours. I think that's really clever, and it's just quite simplistic but complex in everything. I just think it's beautiful. Like, I would have that as a print. You know, like if you got rid of the letters and everything, I would have that as a print on my wall. So I think it's just more beautiful, and I like beautiful covers. Okay, I didn't do 10, I did 9, but we had a few sneaky ones in there as well. So there we go. This is the last book, and this is one I actually haven't read, so I can't say which one is more true to the story or not, but I'm gonna go for it. It's Rainbow Rowell, Carry On. I swear this is like a standard, like a spin-off, like a story from one of her stories, from what I can remember from when it came out, but I hadn't read the original story, so I didn't read this one. So I don't know what this one's about, but we get two very different vibes from it. We get one that's like totally sci-fi vibes, you know, cartoony. That's the UK cover one, I believe, because that's the one that's on Waterstones, and then I'm going to assume the other one is the US cover. Could be totally wrong, so sorry about that. But the other one looks like just a lovely contemporary male-male romance, and just like a nice heartwarming book to read. I feel like if you liked Simon vs. the Homo sapiens Gender, you'd like this book if you were looking at the Rainbow Rowell cover. However, I feel like the UK cover is just a little bit more sci-fi, you know, it looks a little bit more, they've got like swords and wands, and like, you know, a bit more actions going on. It looks a lot more adventure-y. It doesn't look like a contemporary at all. It doesn't look like it would be like, you know, going for walks in parks and stuff like that. It looks like it would be action-packed. So I feel like you kind of have to know what the story's about to know which one's best. I think I'm going to go with the UK cover just because it looks like it's more true to the book, because otherwise if it was a contemporary and there was no aliens involved, there wouldn't be an alien on the cover. Whereas I feel like the US one's a much more toned down version of it. So gonna go for the UK. And that's the end of the video. I have no idea which one. Maybe I'll do a little tally up at the top here and you can see which one's won. But I think I got a bit confused because, you know, I was saying about hardbacks and non-hardbacks and that's a paperback. But you get what I mean. So that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was interesting. Let me know if you disagree with any of the ones that I picked for the winners, because that would be very interesting to know, because I always think they are so like subjective covers. Like some people love certain covers and hate certain covers, so like making them must be really difficult, and like designing them and stuff like that, and like choosing which ones to do, and why would UK ones be different to the American ones and stuff like that. Like what makes them choose to change the design and what makes them keep the design, all that jazzy stuff. I find it really interesting because I'm a nerd. So yes, thank you for watching. I hope you liked. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that jazz, and I shall see you in my next video.